Today I'll show you the correct recipe for P.F. Chang's crispy honey chicken. We'll discuss the exact ingredients and techniques they use at the restaurant. I'll reveal the secret homemade honey sauce you'll need to make this signature dish correctly, and I'll show you the unique two-step process P.F. Chang's uses to get the most tender stir-fried chicken imaginable. Now, for their honey chicken, P.F. Chang's uses regular, boneless, skinless chicken breast. To ensure tenderness, they brine their chicken in an alkaline-soy marinade that helps it stay super juicy even when deep fried. But before we get to that, let me show you how to section the meat properly. To prepare it, first flip the chicken breast over and remove the tenderloin. You can use it in this recipe or save it for something else. Then trim any unsightly bits of fat or tendon to clean it up. Now place your hand on top of the chicken like this and make a horizontal cut across the length of the breast to split it. Then take each piece and cut the meat into roughly 1-inch slices lengthwise down each cutlet. Then take the slices, turn them perpendicular to you, and cut them into 1-inch cubes. And this is the basic preparation for the chicken. The next step is preparing the Alkaline-Soy Marinade. At the restaurant, they use a version of this on almost all their proteins. This marinade both tenderizes and flavors the chicken, seasoning the meat all the way through. And it's super simple to make. You'll just take 1 cup of water, and to that, add half a teaspoon of baking soda and stir to dissolve. This baking soda trick is why the proteins at your favorite takeout restaurant are almost always more tender than when you try to make these dishes at home. Baking soda raises the pH levels on the surface of the meat, which causes a chemical reaction that prevents the protein strands from tightening during the high heat of wok cooking or deep frying. If you've ever added baking soda directly to a protein and felt like it gave it a soapy or metallic off flavor, using a brine like this dilutes the taste so we can still get all the tenderizing effects of baking soda without imparting such flavors. Then, to our alkaline water, we'll next toss in 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and stir it into the brine. And if you're looking for the exact brand they use at the restaurant, pick up a bottle of Lecombe Key's low-sodium soy sauce, the one in the green bottle. But really any soy sauce will work well for the marinade. Then pour the brine over 8 ounces of your cubed chicken breast. And you'll want to marinate the meat for at least 2 hours. At the restaurant, they brine their protein for 24 hours, and I have noticed longer marination times do improve both texture and flavor. So if you can swing it, I recommend at least a day. And just make sure you refrigerate it the entire time. While our protein is marinating, it's a perfect time to make the batter we'll use to deep fry the chicken. And this is a variation of a classic flour and cornstarch batter you'll find in a standard Chinese takeout kitchen. So to get started, add 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour to a large bowl. Then toss in 3/4 of a cup plus 2.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, along with 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of baking powder. Whisk everything together so that all the dry ingredients are well combined, then pour in 1 cup of ice-cold water. Whisk the water in until it's completely incorporated and you notice there are no longer any dry clumps of flour. Then crack in 1 large egg and whisk it in until the batter is totally homogeneous. And finally, pour in 2 tablespoons of a neutral oil and whisk the batter until everything is evenly mixed in. And you always want to make sure this batter is ice cold when you're frying your chicken. The batter will keep for several hours, so I suggest making it ahead of time and storing it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Now, for the honey sauce, which actually doesn't use honey, we'll need a few specialty ingredients. So I'm going to give you a super quick rundown of everything we'll need. But before we get to that, I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, NordVPN. One of the most common questions I get in my comment section is, how do I find all the interesting information I present to you in all of my videos? Well, one of the main ways is by watching cooking shows that aren't available in the United States. And that's where NordVPN comes in. With NordVPN, I can reroute my IP address to anywhere in the world and watch all sorts of cooking shows that are geo-blocked in the United States. For example, I like this show called Chef in My Fridge from South Korea, but if I search for it on Netflix from the United States, you can see it's not available. So what I do is use NordVPN to change my IP address to South Korea, and now you can see it's right there. I also do a lot of my research sitting at cafes in my hometown, and even though I'm on a public Wi-Fi, NordVPN gives me peace of mind because it encrypts 100% of your data and reroutes it through secure servers. So you never have to worry about hackers gaining access to any of your private information. NordVPN is also super easy to use. You just download the app and press a button. It works on all sorts of devices, from phones to computers to tablets. So give NordVPN a try. This is something I actually use every single day. You can download NordVPN and get a special discount by using my link at nordvpn.com/jasonfarmer. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/jasonfarmer. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Now, for the honey sauce, we'll need a few specialty ingredients, so let me give you a quick rundown of everything we'll need. The first is dehydrated minced garlic, and you should be able to find this at most grocery stores on the spice aisle. This is minced garlic that's been dried so it has no moisture in it. But why does P.F. Chang's use this special type of garlic? Firstly, it doesn't burn and stick to the hot pans as easily as fresh garlic. And secondly, it offers a slightly smoother and more concentrated garlic flavor. To prepare it, you'll just need to reconstitute it in hot water for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then drain it of all the water before using. And you can keep this in the fridge for about a week and use it anytime you need minced garlic. The next specialty ingredient we'll need is michu rice wine. This is a very popular choice for cooking wine in many Cantonese and Taiwanese kitchens. It's very similar to the more popular Shaoxing wine, and while there are some subtle differences flavor-wise, they are essentially interchangeable. You should be able to find michu at most Asian grocery stores, and it is available on Amazon, but if you're unable to locate it, just grab a bottle of Shaoxing. And the last thing we'll need is chili oil. This is essentially a neutral oil that has been infused with the flavor of dried chilies and other aromatics. I have an entire breakdown on how P.F. Chang's makes their house chili oil in the lettuce wraps video, which I will link to at the end of this video. But if you don't feel like making it from scratch, I recommend Lee Kum Kee's chili oil. You should be able to find this at most Asian grocery stores on the cooking oil aisle. Now, to make the honey sauce, we'll begin by heating a couple teaspoons of a neutral oil in a small pot over medium heat. Then toss in 10 to 15 dried chilies and saute them until they darken in color, usually about 1 to 2 minutes. Next, add 1 tablespoon of rehydrated garlic to the pot and saute it for about 20 to 30 seconds or just until it releases some of its aroma. Then toss in 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of light soy sauce and 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of michu cooking wine, along with 1 cup of sugar. Whisk all the ingredients until the sugar is completely dissolved and bring the mixture up to a light simmer. Once you see the sauce is simmering, turn off the heat and allow the aromatics to infuse for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then add 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and whisk until everything is mixed together. Then strain the sauce to remove all of the solid ingredients. This amount should make about 4 servings of the honey sauce. It's kind of difficult to scale down for lesser amounts. And once the sauce is cooled down, you can store it in the fridge for about a month. Now, when you're ready to fry the chicken, heat up some neutral oil in a large pot or a wok to 350 degrees. To prepare the chicken, we'll begin by draining it from the Alkaline-Soy Marinade and patting it dry with paper towels. Then add the chicken to a large bowl and toss it in potato starch until every piece is evenly coated. You should be able to find potato starch at most Asian grocery stores. It'll come in little bags like these, but if you're unable to locate it, you can also use cornstarch for this step. Then add the chicken to the flour and cornstarch batter from earlier and make sure each piece is evenly coated. Now slowly lower each piece of battered chicken individually into the oil. And you want to make sure you agitate the chicken pieces after adding them to the oil because they do have a tendency to clump together if you don't. Then you'll just fry the chicken for about 3 to 4 minutes or until they reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Then drain the chicken on a wire rack or a baking sheet lined with paper towels. Now, bump up the oil to 375 degrees. Once it's up to temp, fry the chicken a second time for about 1 to 2 minutes or until the pieces are slightly darkened in color. P.F. Chang's doesn't double fry their chicken, but if you're making it at home, it's totally worth doing because it makes the chicken much crunchier and it holds up way better in the sauce. When the chicken looks good to you, drain it on a wire rack or a baking sheet lined with paper towels and set it aside. When you're ready for the final cooking, it's essential to have everything ready to go. Because this is a stir-fry dish, it comes together within just a couple of minutes, so it's not possible to prep while we're cooking. So we'll begin by heating a large wok over medium heat until you notice light wisps of smoke. Then drizzle in a couple teaspoons of chili oil and swirl it around until it coats the bottom of the wok. Next, toss in half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of the honey sauce and stir it around until it starts to simmer. Then, while stirring the sauce to prevent clumping, slowly drizzle in a cornstarch slurry. This is just 1 tablespoon of cornstarch mixed with 1 tablespoon of water. Then just simmer the sauce until you've achieved your desired consistency. It typically takes about a minute or 2 to thicken up. Then add the fried chicken and toss it in the sauce until all the pieces are evenly coated. And this is it. This is the actual recipe for P.F. Chang's crispy honey chicken. To serve, we'll begin by lining a plate with some fried rice sticks. I have an entire tutorial for how to make these in the lettuce wraps video, and I'll link to that at the end of this video. And then place the honey chicken on top of the fried rice sticks and garnish with a bit of sliced green onion. And this is P.F. Chang's crispy honey chicken. Now, let's give it a taste test and see how we did.
I can see why this is one of their most popular menu items. It's sort of like a more modern sweet and sour chicken, but way better than that old neon red version.
And if you'd like the recipes for the fried rice sticks and the chili oil, make sure to check out the P.F. Chang's lettuce wraps video here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.